Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, coffee lovers. I wondered, I thought he's going to come out with something on his head.
Hello.
He always does. Was it filming?
Yeah. I thought I'd film. Oh. I thought I'd film.
What are you filming?
I thought I'd film them.
You can't film them, they're not there.
Oh, yeah.
You're just filming yourself, you daft
No,
idiot.
I'm filming that.
Yeah, which we can see anyway.
Ah, you can see this.
Idiot. Maybe you should put it on. No, but what you can't see is when you're looking at me and when I'm looking at you. That's
true. So,
good morning. He saw the Spudgy-like man with his camera. And
we're going to cook some food. I'm going to attach it to toffee. We should attach it to toffs.
That would be funny. Morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Say to me, how was your weekend? Say to us, just tell us in a couple of words or a single sentence, because I didn't get to do that on Instagram. How was your weekend? Mark, how was your weekend?
Busy.
Did you have any time off, Mark?
I did yesterday. Late afternoon.
What time did that start your time?
About 6 o'clock.
Ah.
Yeah, no, it was nice though when it happened. It was really nice.
So one of our New Year's resolutions was that Sundays would be a day of rest.
Yeah,
as it happened. One day it did.
Can I just say, lots and lots of people in the members area really loved the ADHD poem and your reading and the images. It was good.
Oh, I read it, and then I didn't know Mark was going to put all those lovely photos on. I don't know. I think I feel a bit shy about it.
We rustled that up in minutes. I came upstairs and you were like, oh, hang on, I just read that.
I read him this poem, he filmed it, and then about 10 minutes later, he came up with this beautifully edited piece with all these photographs.
So go and check it. If you can't bear the No Name Sunday show, just spool to the end. I hope you're 18th century Hello Neighbour, full of flu.
Oh, no. Well, that was a bad weekend then.
Oh, do you know those days when you're just full of it?
Stop. Traitors Australia. No, we haven't, Faith. Is it good? But we have. Don't get us addicted to more things.
Faith. Can I just say, there seems to be. Is anyone watching Trigger Point? Is that the new film with Vicky McClure? Where's good? I was looking at what we put out in January last year, and we had the Harry and Meghan documentary. There was another documentary. There was Happy Valley. We were doing all sorts of because we do TV reviews and stuff like that. And we were going to do the Traitors, but there was something weird about where it fell in the week and where we caught up with it. I
think we just felt bad about doing lives late with the girls.
Yeah, exactly. But where's the good? Where's not good? Says Lynn Sheard. So right, really? Oh, it's very good, Lee Durran. Okay, we've got lots of converging. Ali P, loving Trigger Point.
When did it start?
When did it start?
But isn't she the same actress from the other police thing?
Yeah, I got a bit confused with the photo.
What was that police thing? You all got so annoyed with us because we thought it was rubbish.
Oh my God, what is it? In the Line of Duty?
Long thin blue line.
In the Line of Duty? Long pink blue line. Trigger Point is a no-no. Vicky is superb, but the storyline is so contrived. WM, you've kind of hit the nail on the head. The problem I have with a lot of this stuff is it's very simple. And it's not even procedural in an interesting way. I think the best procedurals have to have some emotional aspect to them too. But I mean, we haven't seen it, so I don't know. Morning to anyone I've missed, says Sonia. Bless you. Awful presenter, Traitors Australia. Only 9 episodes, but amazing ending.
See, if it's got an awful presenter, I'm just going to give up.
What is the one we're watching?
We're watching the US, so it's in the castle in Scotland with, what's the name of the actor?
Alan Cummings.
Alan Cummings is the presenter because it's got quite a few of the stars that we like from our shitty.
Well, without doing a spoiler, it did
realities.
For a nanosecond.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a fatal mistake in the former. Anyway, good morning, everyone. If you're listening on podcast, welcome. Hit the star button. Hit 5 stars, and don't worry if you accidentally hit 1. That's fine. We'll forgive you. So, Louise Marie, let's have a look at this. It's a joke. So, a paper bag goes to the doctor. He doesn't feel well. The doctor said, I need to take a sample. A week later, hang on, I'm trying to keep up with this one. A week later, he calls back the paper bag and says, I'm afraid both your parents are carriers. That's actually very good, Louise Marie. It's almost Shaggy Dog. It's like a shaggy Chihuahua. Oh, God, do you remember Shaggy Dog jokes? And I bet you'd lose interest, wouldn't you? You've already fucking lost it. Just asking you about you. You're right. Reese, ITV have a repetitive problem, shit, Sherlock, whereby the dramas are pushed to be more exciting in the trailers.
Absolutely.
And then when you actually watch them, they tend to...
And I think maybe what they do is, because she is a fantastic actress. Vicky McClure, there's no doubt in her talent. So maybe just go... wow.
I think she needs to do something that isn't a procedural.
Rather than paying, I suppose they have to pay a lot for the stars to try and somehow keep together the bad
come on, this
bad
is unforgivable.
directing.
Bad directing, it's clunky.
Yeah, but these things are badly written.
That's what I mean. What were we watching the other night? It was just
poor Lee
written.
just said he loves it.
Sorry, Lee, yeah. What was it we were watching the other... We haven't even seen it, so we can hardly... But what were we watching the other night where you just said... We were like, oh, this is just bad.
Just bad.
What was it? It's just bad.
Oh, it just got boring. The thing with Jodie Foster.
True Detective. What the fuck
Loved the first
happened
episode.
there?
Second episode, we were like, what the hell?
I mean, don't get me wrong. You've got me in with frozen kind of corpses and arms coming off. But
I
then
think
it just
what
became
they did was they peaked with that, and then they just got confused.
dangerous.
But anyway, on to what we're chatting about.
Anyway, I saw the Iron Claw as a preview. Don't get me going, any movie fans here, on wigs. But can I just say this, and the review will be landing in the next couple of days. Zac Efron, I wanted to give him a great big bloody hug. Bless him. Bless him, bless him, bless him. I was having a chat with Maddie about his acting style this morning. Okay, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the Grammys. We're talking about the media construct or the idea, and we're going to show you the footage so you can be the judge of whether Taylor Swift really did snub Celine Dion when she was awarded her Grammy. Taylor Swift obviously has made history. Is it four best album Grammy wins? So she's gone viral for potentially snubbing Celine Dion, says the Daily Mail. We've got other little highlights from the Grammys, but also one of the other highlights is Annie Lennox, who called for a ceasefire. Let me just find it. An emotional ceasefire. She gave a tribute, or was singing a tribute to Sinead O'Connor, and she called for a ceasefire. This has led to we're going to talk about a bit of a backlash. Yeah, absolutely.
Give us the menu.
And we're going to be talking about exercise addiction, and we're going to be talking about how TikTok has banned phrases like leggy leggings or something like that. Fucking ridiculous. Leggy leggings. What is leggy leggings? So a lot about body, a lot about that, but we are going to be accessing, for any of you who are a bit sort of weak in the moral sort of, fibre. We're going to be touching upon the kind of Gaza-Israel crisis via Annie Lennox. Where would you like to start, Nat? Should we start with the Taylor?
Yeah, I mean...
I didn't know a Taylor Swift song. Can I just start with that? I was looking them up. I could not give you the first notes of a... what?
I'm just trying to think of a Taylor Swift.
You're looking at me in that weird way.
No, of course not.
Okay, let me show you what she did if you were me. She went like, you're me and I'm turning to you. What are you going like?
No, but they can't see because you've got to do it to them, you
So you're
idiot.
looking at my head and forehead. And
I know, I do that with everyone. I can't help it.
Well, why are you doing it with me? Taylor Swift. I can't think of any of her songs.
Neither can I.
I couldn't hum them.
Is it do-do-do, ba-do-do-do, ba-do-do-do, do-do-do-do?
Hang on. I even put them in. I put famous Taylor Swift songs. Me.
I don't know any of them.
Couldn't even give you...
We can't blast any of them
All
either.
Too Well.
No. I can't... No. So let's go back. So I think, apparently...
Shake It Off.
Shake it. That was it.
Shake it off.
That's the one I know.
Do it.
Shake it off. Shake it off.
Why are you wanking?
Mark!
We were. Shaking like a Polaroid picture.
Anyway, yes. So I just think... should we even be talking about it? Because we're doing the same thing.
Let's show it.
We're doing the same thing as papers.
So Celine Dion, obviously, huge round of applause. Everyone there for her. She had, what's it called? Stiff bone syndrome, is it? Or stiff leg syndrome?
Horrendous. She's got.
It's also, isn't it called something like standing statue? There's all sorts of kind of human statue syndrome. Anyway, so she was there. There's been lots of talk about her not being able to perform. So that was a huge moment for Celine Dion fans. I'm not on the Celine Dion bandwagon.
It actually is a massive moment because we've seen the reports of this dreadful is it a disease or condition that she has, And, you know, whenever anybody talks, we all sit there just dumbfounded. I mean, I've never heard of this thing. And I remember reading something recently from her sister saying that it's just so hard. There's nothing they can do. She's in incredible pain. You know, it's like she's everything is stiffening up, isn't it? Like even her vocal cords.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, just horrendous. So this was a very, very big moment, her being there. You know, a huge talent, huge star.
Also a very big moment for Taylor winning the 4th album, you know, first woman to win 4 albums or first person to win 4.
And a very big night for women in general, because I think there was a lot of complaints last year, wasn't it, that women were overlooked. And so this year there was... that was certainly fixed, but of course, papers like the Daily Mail don't want any of that going on.
Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. This is the moment she won. I'm more offended
so basically,
by the music.
We haven't said what's happening yet. So basically, now they're trying to say, the headlines are saying that, you know, Taylor blanked her, Taylor this, Taylor that. And as usual, what they do, these online papers, is they take a few tweets of people that are outraged, people that are furious, people that are disgusted, and then they make that feel like, you know, the whole world is feeling like that. Now, what I see when I look at that is somebody that is, because don't forget also, people are very PR'd. They know the right way to behave and the wrong way to behave. They know that if you don't do this, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get fired down if you say anything like that. So they know this. So that speaks to me that she was just so caught up in the moment that she was just like all over the place, because she would have known that if she blanked Celine Dion, people would have had a go. So I just think, again, it's just any chance that...
So what you're saying is what she's being pulled down for here is an authentic moment.
She's having a bloody authentic moment. It's like I said the other day, caveats.
Fuck caveats.
Everything. Where do we get to just be human and just respond and make mistakes? And, you know, whether you like Taylor Swift's music or not, that is a huge thing. She won 4. You know, and they boil it down to putting women against women. She's dissed Celine Dion. She would not, if she had been in full capacity of mind, but she wasn't because she was shocked and she was joyful, she would have been knowing, God, whatever you do. And she would have loved Celine Dion anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She is not having a row with Celine Dion.
Well, Cambo says when Celine presented Adele with the album of the year, she literally bowed and was in awe of Celine's presence. Taylor didn't even make eye contact, grabbed her Grammy and didn't acknowledge. Lee Durrant thinks she was just overcome with excitement.
I do.
Shauna Roche, I'm not particularly a Taylor fan, but I imagine there's a lot of stuff going on in your head at that moment. If it was 2 men, would there be such an outrage?
There surely wouldn't.
Once again, women being bitchy again. She was just overwhelmed in the minute, says Ellen.
But is it women being bitchy? Or is it the news online papers stirring up?
Mara says she's rude. You know what? Can I give what my honest opinion was when I saw it? As soon as I saw it, because these people are performers. She's won Grammys countless times before. She's been on stage. She's earned billions. She knows the protocol. I have to confess that, yes, I get it. There's all the excitement. But if within that moment she's just taken the award, she starts to talk and she turns around and just goes, oh, and Celine.
But you just proved my point.
It's not about bitchiness. I just thought, oh, how she doesn't.
But you just proved my point, because she knows the game. She is very PR savvy. She is squeaky clean. So that can only have been a mistake for her to do that to Celine Dion, because you wouldn't do that.
No. I get that. I don't think there's anything untoward in it. But I suppose what I'm saying is that when the optics on it, I'm not surprised it's kind of caught a little bit of kind of ignition without the Daily Mail. I think on social media, people were saying this first.
No, but that's what they do. They get a few tweets.
No, of course. But I think the reason, if I saw that, I must admit, I would think it of a man or a woman. I think I'm not the ones examining it and going, she's a bad person for it and she's awful. But it's not that deep, Zoe. But I suppose when I just looked at the footage, I thought, what is all this fuss about? And
you know what is the important part of this conversation? The important part of this conversation is, can we stop trying to tear down women whenever they are doing something that should be applauded, whatever you think of her? You know, okay, so say she's the biggest bitch on the planet, right? Say she is. We don't know. And she purposefully dissed Celine. She won 4 Grammys last night. You know, if you think of the behaviours of so many male artists, I mean, Kanye off the top of my head, these people, if they'd behaved in any way that was a bit out of the safe box of exactly how you're supposed to behave, it would have been seen as boyish. Do you know what I mean? It would have been back to what a genius Kanye is. You know, no matter what Kanye does, we always have to have at the end, and he's a genius.
I don't know though. He urinated on his Grammy, didn't he? And no one was particularly happy about that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I mean that's an extreme thing. What I'm saying is that I mean we get this a lot on Loose Women, and it really pisses me off. You could have a conversation about anything, and they take 1 or 2 trolls comments.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And then they make everything about that, and it's like year after year after year after year. I mean, I never look. I literally never look at the online, but somehow eventually it gets back to you. Like, oh, did you see that they were saying? You're like, really?
Well, look, Reese Roberts says here, I'm with Mark, though, in the sense that most of her wins last night, it felt like a full rollout and not necessarily caught off guard.
But do you think, Reese, she would be unsavvy enough? Let's just take it as she's the most savvy, controlling, you know, bitch. Let's imagine that. If she was, there is no way she would have ignored the queen that is Celine. No way. Because it's a terrible PR mistake. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I couldn't give a monkey's jollop about the truth of this or not really. I don't think for a minute it was meant, and I don't think for a minute it's a news story. But let's just pause for a second. Can you have an opinion on this and perhaps not like the way she was with Celine Dion and it not be about pulling women down? Absolutely. You could say, oh, blimey. No, if we were watching it, oh, Christ. She should have said, but what I'm talking about is the way that we are manipulated by online article, well, and newspaper, why am I saying? But online is particularly bad because they're not journalists with any training whatsoever. They are literally just looking. They sit on social media, taking out pieces of hate and then fanning flames, whether it's Taylor Swift, and we get manipulated into it.
Nikki Paul says if she said loads to Celine, people would have criticised her for being fake and rehearsed. Taylor can never win with something. You're right. I mean, and also let's not forget, Taylor Swift's had a really tough couple of weeks, hasn't she? What with the deep fake AI images, there's been a real desire to, and you can see this as kind of a feeding fest for women against. I don't know if I agree that every response to everything, if it involves a woman, is about just bringing women down for the sake of bringing women down. I think this may have, like you say, I would have seen this in any award ceremony, and if it was a man, woman, or whoever, I would have gone, oh, that was a bit sort of blunt. And I've thought it many times. What one doesn't then do is go onto social media and go, what a cow, what are this, what are that? Exactly. And then what you certainly then don't do is as a pretend journalist go, oh, someone on Twitter said, what a cow.
With the moral high ground as well, who would never do such a thing.
The journalists do when they construct their stories only out of social media posts is, I am the arbiter. I am the arbiter of truth.
The stories cobbled together from hate people, like you say, this is stuff you do in the city. Oh, we would have gone, God, look at her. She just totally blanked Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'd have been like, if I was Celine, I'd have hit her with the Grammy.
She just blanked Celine Dion. Oh, a cup of tea, anyone. That's what you should have. But no.
But anyway, let's look at a few other images from the night. Joni Mitchell.
Yes.
Performed at 80.
And she had survived an aneurysm. It was a miracle she was there.
Did anyone hear it? I didn't hear it, but I'm not entirely sure. Did it sound good? Was it nice? Was it inspiring? Was it one of those moments? There again is Taylor winning her award. Miley Cyrus. Imagine landing on I think you should have a crack at that one, Matt. I think you'd look good.
God, I should do that.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus in a sort of.
That's so funny.
It looks like someone's got hold of a spirograph and done it all over her body.
Is it a pair of tights? Is it like...
It's a chainmail dress.
Oh, it's chain. How can we do that?
Yeah. And of course we get to performance of the night, Mr. Cardinal. Oh, okay, wow, brilliant. And then of course we get to Annie Lennox. And Annie Lennox has caused, let's look at another story that's been, or has it been generated by social media and then found in the press. This is Annie Lennox, who, in a tribute to Sinead O'Connor, said ceasefire, called for a ceasefire. Let's just find.
But she's very strong on her Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm glad I found her on Instagram. I've always been a big fan of hers, but I'd never even thought she'd be on Instagram.
Following her performance, she simply said this: "Artists for a ceasefire, peace in the world." And a little bit like when you put your hands up, calling for a ceasefire, it becomes an Israel-Hamas kind of story. I just want to show you. I want to play you.
Well, she's been accused of being anti-Semite.
Yeah, but on that note, I want to show you a clip from someone who was at the Grammys. This is. Let me just find the name of this person just quickly.
How the word ceasefire has become weaponized, as Mark said, in the way that it has, and it being translated into being anti-Semitic is gaslighting beyond words, global gaslighting. To ask for this madness to stop does not make you anti-Semitic.
So
of course, she's been accused of that.
And this is someone who was, I think, at the Grammys, Noah Tishby. Just to give you a sense of how this is being...
is he from...
No, it's a woman. This is how, give you a sense...
So tonight, the Grammys were hijacked in favor of Hamas agenda as singer Lennox called for a ceasefire, denying Israel's right to defend itself and also not calling for the release of the hostages. Basically giving Hamas exactly what they wanted. I think that next time a singer wants to do something that's good for humanity, they should probably call on the release of innocent women and a baby and a toddler from the hands of a genocidal terrorist organization. I think that's probably a good idea.
Oh my God. And she just looked so beautiful the whole time she was doing that. She got the right key light over from the right, and she was just fantastic. Let's just get this down to the baby and the genocidal terrorist.
I mean, she's quite astonishing.
Wow. You need to say no more.
She's a Trump follower, says Mr. Jason 916.
Wow, but I love the way she made sure that her makeup was perfect and she had the good light. She knows where the light is on that. You can't con me.
But the fascinating thing about this, and I was really pleased to see, what was the name of? Oh, I forget the name. What's the name of the actor? John Cusack. John Cusack was one of the many people who replied to this, saying, "Since when has the word ceasefire? It's been assumed that the word ceasefire isn't applicable to both sides of this equation." There's this strange idea that by using the word ceasefire, you're somehow castigating the hostages to some kind of, the only times that why don't people get this into their thick skulls? The only times hostages have been released is during a ceasefire. Now,
no, or when they managed to escape and their own army shot them dead when they were stripped from the waist up, waving a white flag.
Yeah. No. There's
as
that.
Well, that was horrific.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that ceasefires suit everyone, and so when people call out anyone calling for a ceasefire to suggest it's kind of somehow anti-Semitic, it tells you that one thing: they're Islamophobic.
100%.
That's all it tells you.
It's like I always say, whenever I ask for a ceasefire, I get loads and loads of hate, and I get like loads of, "You're a despicable person, you never say anything about the hostages." And I've said so many times, if my family or somebody I loved was in Gaza with this going on, I would be begging, pleading, tearing my hair out in front of Netanyahu, cease fire, in exactly the same way. Because to me, all human beings are the same.
What?
To her, not one bit. She's saying there's one baby in there that we have to get out. And therefore, anybody that in any way asks for all the other babies to be protected is a terrorist. Annie Lennox should bloody sue her. She's basically tried to call her a terrorist. Hasn't she? For saying ceasefire peace.
But the thing about all of it is, I think what you have to do, the only way you can protect yourselves, and you need to protect yourselves from this, is more often than not, if you see that somewhat rabid look and that sort of wide-eyed appetite for kind of, weaponizing the word ceasefire in this way, there's one option. It's the same option that we've talked about often with dealing with narcissists. You have to starve them of your oxygen. Because if you feed them with fight back, they turn it round and they hit you with it. Look, a good example of this, how narcissistic power stems from criticism, is Trump. And I've said it from the get-go with Trump, the biggest mistake all of his opponents make with him is attacking him and calling him down. What you have to do is ignore. And unfortunately, that's what happens here is as soon as someone says ceasefire, they're nudging you into saying something, and then they seize upon all the things you haven't said. If I have to say this one more time, it's like, right, if I use the word at, I haven't used the word if, of, is, this, and every other word in the English dictionary. And what these people would have you jump on and get stressed about is the fact that you didn't use all the other words. Well, of course you fucking didn't.
Because
You can't keep using this word because you're talking about this. And it's intellectually bereft. It's uncivilized and insane. It's suggestive of sheer stupidity. And what really gets me about women like this person here is the vast majority of sensible, humane people, whether they be Jewish, Israeli, non-Israeli, whatever nationality, Muslim, the vast majority of people want peace.
They do. Nobody wants to live in war.
This is madness. But the people who don't want peace are the people who are weaponizing ceasefire.
Yeah. And this woman, God knows who she is the most inauthentic of people. That was all about her and her ego, her key light, her looking into. I think she probably checked it and maybe reshot it a few times. There was nothing real in that for anyone, I don't think. That was all about her. That was about her ego. And you know what? Annie Lennox, good on you, because we saw practically every famous person come out for Ukraine, right? Which was right. But why did everybody do it for Ukraine? Because there was not one shred of a possibility that their careers could be affected in any way. So that makes it, to me, now you can say nothing. You can say absolutely zero when we are witnessing the most horrendous nightmare, and we know that people are starving, and we know all of this, and you don't say a single word, then that makes anything you've said about Ukraine, it shows to me that you didn't mean anything about it. It was just like, oh, it was quite good to go, oh, Ukrainian flag. So good on her. She said so little, and yet she's accused of this is like the McCarthy trials. It's just
horrific. Well, no, and it's remarkable. And in fact, what's most depressing and most telling about the whole thing is that and that's why actually when you'll see it in the vlog. We did vlog beforehand when we were talking about what Nadia should put on her hands. I said it needs to be pretty damn simple, because the word cease. The thing that I don't think I will ever, as a young stupid history student who took it, so I will never recover from what has happened to the word ceasefire. No. This is a turning point in humanity that we've managed to, and not only managed to weaponize it, but people are on board with the idea that it is a sensationalist word. The other thing that often happens whenever anyone says ceasefire is there's this assumption that what you're saying with the ceasefire is that everyone lays down arms and everyone leaves themselves vulnerable. Ceasefire has to be the first part of an incredibly complex, negotiation. There has to be this isn't about put your weapons down, everyone suddenly go and Hamas attacks again. No one wants another Hamas attack. No one wants the Israeli occupation of Gaza, which incidentally, Gaza, tiny geographically, but they have managed, Israel, to bulldozer, or in the process of bulldozering, a 1 kilometer wide gully between the fence and Gaza. So what was tight, a slither of land, has become even tighter, and now over 50% of all the buildings. The images that I put on my stories last night, I was staggered. Again, this is about history. People go, it's not about history. It's like if you think history started on October the 7th, then you really, 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 really don't deserve really any oxygen to talk to, because it's just ridiculous. It didn't just start on October the 7th. But the point that I'm trying to make is, when I looked at the footage of the devastation in Gaza, the only other time I've seen in history, but I had the same response, and that was yesterday, to when I saw the photographs of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I remember my nan saying that when she came back from her placement in the RAF and she was back in Coventry, she was dropped off. She said she will never forget the devastation. She said landmarks that were familiar, because she was then going to be picked up, had gone, completely gone. And she, her generation were of the opinion that this could never happen again. Even my nan and granddad were in the RAF. Of course they knew of Dresden. even they couldn't sign up to the collateral damage of an event like Dresden. They hung their heads in shame whenever Dresden was, not that it was mentioned often, but I remember asking them about it as a irritating ADHD history interested kind of kid. And you saw about Dresden and the carpet bombing there. So the fact that these images have become normalized, and the fact that these images still result in Biden trying to sign off $17.5 billion, it's the most unforgivable stain on humanity I have ever seen in the history of man, bar reaching back to World War II.
And she talks about a baby, heartbreaking that baby is in there and that baby must come out. But, you know, they are now to cut the water off, right? And to smash the main. So now what water there was is polluted. For the world to cut off the aid, the food aid, when they were already starving. Women are having babies, they cannot breastfeed them because there is no fresh water for them to drink and to eat. And you stand there with your blow-dried, glossy hair, checking that the light looks good for your shot. Racist, racist, racist. You are racist. They get to call us an anti-Semitic if we say ceasefire. I look at and go, the racism towards these people is despicable, and they are not going to stop until they have wiped them out. You watch, and then how will we talk about it in the history books? I wonder what it will be called down the line.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm just so upset, guys, because I hadn't seen that video. And that to me just sums up the glossy white privilege that is going on here. People just going, oh, don't show me the video. Oh no, that's awful. Oh no, I don't want to see it. What the hell?
Just listening, a couple of people saying, why is it so different? I hate to say it. The difference is because Ukraine they're white. Sorry. There's a relatability to their Europeanness. I hate to say it. That's why in the Middle East, Arabs and anyone of any colour there have,
the majority. Look, let's be honest here. I am half Arabic, right? I know very, very well. That the majority of Westerners think of Arabs as terrorists.
Literally.
It's like you say Arab, you hear terrorist.
The first thought people
you hear Allah, and people think terrorist. You know a conversation me and Dina had when we were watching some of these videos with these people screaming and crying and like terrible things are happening to them and they're calling to Allah. It's because they've got fuck all else but to call to God. But you say Allah and people think terrorist. Islamophobia is never given the same power as the word anti-Semitic. Oh my God. Why is nobody saying anything about what's going on, about the absolute tragedy is happening to the people? Why? Because everybody is totally terrified of being marked with the word anti-Semitic. The only people that talk to me in the showbiz world about this whisper. They will close the door and lock it if they want to say anything. What? Just in case the wall hears something that says, oh my God, these poor people are starving. Oh my God, the women can't breastfeed. And they'll be called anti-Semitic. This is literally, we've reached a point now of such insanity. I really worry for the world. And nobody seems to be worried about the fact that this fragility that is spreading into Lebanon, look what they're doing. It can. They are talking every night about the possibility of World War III. The Houthis will allow the ships through once there is a ceasefire in Gaza.
But all the Western governments don't want you to know that. All the Western governments don't want us to know that the Houthis are actually attached to the idea. They want to make it just about trade and it's an attack on us.
They've never done anything like this before.
There was actually a press release issued by the head of the Houthis. This is becoming. If one could satirize this, it's too serious to satirize. But there's one of the Houthis was saying something along the lines of, "We've never been clearer in any political opinion ever. This is purely attached to the siege of Gaza. If you stop the siege of Gaza, we'll stop.
We'll let the boat through."
And then, of course, they have a vested interest, Rishi and everyone over here, to say the two aren't connected because otherwise then they have to take some action on Israel. Here's the other thing: the bit about the 17.5 billion that I find, and finally Bernie Sanders has come out saying this is an absolute stain on This could be
17.5
so.
billion that America's now going to give to Israel. My God, imagine being American. How do you feel about that?
Of all the things that are happening, the bit that I can't find really hard to comprehend is I can understand signing up to we talked about self-defense. I understand that argument. We all understood that rationale. We are way, 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 way beyond that now. So the idea that at this late stage, the American government are still giving money to a man who, in most quarters, even in Israel, consider Netanyahu to be a loose cannon, who was
facing jail,
but he's a loose cannon who isn't really a sensible individual. I mean, how can we have this strange dichotomy where we recognise him as a bit of a loop, and yet at the same time we'll give yet more money to this kind of
we know the answer
fragile.
Because Israel is America in the middle of the Middle East. That's why now they're sending money to Israel. So Israel now is starting a war, going in for war to Lebanon. No, this spreads and spreads and spreads and spreads, and it makes us all vulnerable, not just the Palestinians. We're in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. The reason why they chant that at the marches is because this will affect everybody. And everybody needs to be engaged in saying, what the hell is going on? Now, there's no excuse not to know what's going on and to ask for it to stop, because there is a genocide happening in front of our eyes.
And just to clarify, because there are so many different brands of Zion, the Netanyahu brand of Israeli Zionist kind of right-wingness is a white supremacist colonial aspect to it. So there's a discussion going on here. Of course, Jewish, you can be Jewish and black, you can be Jewish and Arab.
You are, like Muslim, like Christian, like Catholic.
But you need to go look online and search up Benjamin Netanyahu's historical statements about Jewish people of colour.
Look it up.
Check it out.
It's petrifying.
It's so scary.
And then watch the videos of what happens in Israel.
So this isn't when I say that this is about brown people, I'm talking about this is about brown people, and I would say that a huge millions, hundreds of thousands of brown Jewish people have also felt victim to this particular brand of extreme right Israeli Zionism. There's even,
and Christians.
Yeah, and you can be a Zionist and not be Israeli and not be Jewish. You can believe in the state of Israel. And then within Zionism, there are different brands of Zionism. There are those Zionists who believe that it's about a country, and there are those Zionists who believe it's about almost a state of mind or a state of place in the world. So there are many Zionists outside of Israel who don't agree with the idea of a state of Israel having been, in a sense, constructed in the way that it has. So it's a really important thing to discuss. Emma Muck, have you ever? No, we haven't been to Israel. Have you been to Gaza?
I have.
No, you've been to Israel. But Emma Muck, I'm really interested. Have you been to Gaza?
I have been to Israel. One day I'll tell you what happened when I went to Israel.
Yeah, really humiliating.
It's quite something.
Wasn't pleasant.
Once they discovered that my mother was married to an Arab, it was quite a fascinating experience.
Wow.
Yeah.